If you're an undocumented student, don't go to career fair, never tell anybody about your status, never gonna get hired. That was something that a lot of people would tell me when I was an undergrad without DACA. And what if I told you that was a complete lie? What if I told you that I actually found out different ways on how to get my first opportunity, whether it was an internship, a fellowship, a job? So in this video, I'm gonna be sharing four ways that any undocumented student with or without DACA can use to start landing that first job, start landing that first opportunity.
Welcome to Undocumented Startup by Juan Maya Hernandez.
Hi, everyone new here. My name is Juan Maya Hernandez, and I'm the founder of Undocumented Startup. We are the leading entrepreneurship program for undocumented students. If you're an undocumented student liaison at any university across the U.S. and you're interested in bringing entrepreneurship to your campus, visit www.undocumentedstartup.com. Again, that is www.undocumentedstartup.com, and I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. Now, in this video, I'm going to be sharing the 4 ways, and I call it the 4S framework. The 4 S's stand for scale, solve, serve, and share. All right. And here's how it works. When it comes to skill, you want to offer what you already know. And I'll tell you a story that is very simple, but it ended up working for me. So back in 2018, 2019, I was blowing up on social media. I was running a photography account. I was a photographer back then, posting all my images. I was getting 700, 800 likes per post. I was getting 300 comments. And this was just through photography. So I obviously knew something about social media marketing at that time, especially organically building it, right? And I remember that I was speaking to a staff on campus. She was a staff at the student center, and I was showing her all my images. But instead of looking at my images, she started looking at the engagement that I was getting crazy amounts of engagement. I remember she asked me and I remember her telling me, hey, I want to build this project. How would you use social media to start marketing? What is it that you do? So I showed her the complete framework. I tell her, post around this time, do this before this time, on the hashtags, do this, etc., etc. I pretty much gave her my whole framework for free. I never expected anything out of it. I was just trying to help. And again, I was like in my first and my second year at UCLA as an undergrad. Nonetheless, she ended up implementing it. She started getting 300 likes, 200 likes for her posts, a lot of engagement. And then she reaches out to me literally maybe a few months later. And she's like, hey, we're going to be opening up an internship opportunity, a fellowship. And I remember asking her, how would this work? Even if I don't have DACA, how am I going to get paid? And she said, don't worry about it. It's going to be a fellowship. It's going to go through a scholarship. It's going to go through your scholarship. You're going to receive it through financial aid, and then you'll be able to get it through your bank. And that's how I landed my first opportunity, right? So it really came from the skill that I already had about social media marketing, helping out somebody else. And then she reached out to me because the help that I gave her was really, really valuable. So I guess the biggest takeaway here is, if you have a skill, share your skills with staff, share your skills with anybody, because at any moment, those skills could be necessary and an opportunity can open up. And I kid you not that I was probably the very first, if not the first, social media marketing intern at that student center. And after that, they've had one every single year. But it came from, again, having a skill, showing it to a staff, and that staff provided me an opportunity. All right. And that's the first S. 120 undocumented students, 6 different states, 1 day to launch your business. We started Undocumented Startup in California, but we knew that our impact had to go in more than one state. So introducing the Undocumented Startup Tour, we are bringing our flagship entrepreneurship bootcamp to 6 different states for the next few months.
It's $26 in investment.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and we also got 1 client.
Like last minute, I send messages to the people I know, and I just got sent 60.
Ooh. There's only 120 spots, so apply now at www.undocumentedstartup.com/tour. Again, www.undocumentedstartup.com/tour. And I'll see you on the other side. The second S is solve. And here you want to step into opportunities. All right. The second S stands for solve. And here you want to step into opportunities. At the early stages of Undocumented startup, it was just an idea. This idea was to help immigrant students get more jobs. And at the very early stages, I was doing a lot of market research on it, right? I was looking at online articles. I was looking at all these other things around jobs, labor, day laborers, immigrant jobs, all this stuff. Ultimately doing research. And then I found that there was a staff member on campus, a professor that had done research in this for a lot of years now, and he had already authored a book. He had published multiple papers on this, research papers. So what I ended up doing was I emailed him. I cold emailed him and I told him, hey, professor, I would love to have a connection. I would love to have a meeting with you. Here's my idea. I would love some advice. I would love some feedback. I wanted to learn more about, some of the work that you've already done. And obviously I did research on this professor, right? He, like I mentioned, he had already done multiple research papers. He had already published a book and he was working in the labor department at UCLA. So I reached out to him. And then after that meeting, he told me, how much have you done for this project, et cetera, et cetera. And I ultimately gave him a lot of ideas, a lot of the stuff that I had been doing. Again, same thing happened. He told me, like, okay, this is really great research that you're doing. Why don't you do this research and publish it on behalf of my name? And that's what ended up happening, right? So he ended up giving me a paid research position. I was in my third or fourth year at this time, and he gave me a $25 an hour paid position to do research under him, and we'd have check-ins. And the interesting part about it, and I give a lot of thanks to this professor, but the interesting part about it is that then I told him that I had this vision. I kept updating him. I showed him all the behind the scenes that I had been done. And he said, this is obviously not a research. This is more of a startup. This is something that you should go out and pursue because I believe that you can help out a lot of other students. So he said, you know what? Just work on this business during this time. I'll continue paying you $25 an hour. And ultimately, I was getting paid for research. But realistically, I was getting paid to build my company, right? So again, this second way came from me talking about my business, asking for help, stepping into opportunities. And there is a huge amount of luck into it, but you create your own opportunity down the line, right? So that's the second one. The third one is serve. So turn your help into a service. Again, obviously, we talked about the social media marketing side. We talked about how I was a photographer. So interestingly, I remember a student organization on campus told me, can you take headshots of our students, of our club, so we can post it on social media? And I said, yes. Again, didn't really seek anything in return. I just took the images. And then they told me, how much is it going to cost? We want to make sure we pay you. Because what I didn't know at that time is that student clubs get funding from the university to host events, to bring on speakers, to do all these other things. Point is, I made $90 that time when I photographed that event, and I was like, wait a minute, I could actually make money from this. So then I did it again. I did a free headshot photography service for any student that wanted it. I had 12 students sign up, and I talk about this story a lot, but I had 12 students sign up, and I used that as a portfolio. Then once they referred all of their friends, I said, well, you know what? Now I am taking clients for $15, $20, $40, $50, $70. I even got to a point where I was charging $700 for 1 hour. And I talk about the story a lot again. But again, it came from me being able to help somebody, turning that help into a service that I can then charge, and it ended up helping me down the line. Another example I can give you is in my last year. As I was going into my last year, I was part of the Brewing Commuters. So it's a club, student club on campus. At that time, the student club was creating a commuter hub on campus, and they were looking for volunteers to help marketing, to help be involved. Nonetheless, I applied because I enjoyed marketing, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this for free. And I love that they were implementing a center on campus. So I signed up. I ended up being part of the marketing team. I helped them recruit people. I helped them create social media videos. And then again, the same thing happened again. I received an email, and the staff member that was going to be the director of that new commuter center on campus sends me an email, and she's like, hey, we need to talk. We hop on a Zoom meeting, and then she ends up telling me, would you like to be the intern for social media and marketing for the next semester? That turned into a $17 an hour internship. I volunteered to help in the marketing for this commuter center, and it just so happened that this person enjoyed my work. I think enjoyed the work that I had done, and it turned into an opportunity. The last S stands for share. Talk about your goals. Talk about where you're trying to be. Okay. My first year, my first going into my second year, again, everything around photography. I went to the entrepreneurship center on campus. It was called Startup UCLA. I talked to a staff. I asked her questions around, hey, like I know how to take photos. Here's my status, all these other things. Here's what I want to do. I'm trying to start this photography business. It was just through free consultations, right? But I had one consultation with her. And then again, literally few months later, she sends me an email and she's like, hey, would you be available? What would be your quote for this, for you photographing this entrepreneurship event on campus? I've always said, fake it till you make it. So I told her I normally do this for $800. And, but for you, because I know you, I can do it for $600. And when I sent that email, I thought to myself, I was like, well, you know what? She's probably going to say no. She's probably not going to, move forward with this, but she ended up saying yes to me. And the way that she paid me was, again, through a scholarship. She paid me through a scholarship. I went through my financial aid, and then I was able to receive it. So again, these are the 4 ways that I managed to get hired, right? So if you have a skill, offer what you know, talk to people about that skill. It will lead to opportunities. The second one is solve. Step into opportunities. If there's a professor you can get information from, get some advice, talk to your professors. They have a lot of opportunities there as well. Serve, right? If a lot of people are asking you for help on certain things, why not turn it into a service? And even if you're not confident like how I was, you can start charging $10, $15, $20, and that's how you can start making money. And the last one, again, it is to share. Talk about your goals. Talk about it to people that you just meet, right? Like, no one's going to know where you're trying to be. But I tell this to my students all the time in my programs, right? I'm always like, hey, where do you see this business in the next 6 months? Right? Because some of them want to start a decorating business. Some of them want to start a catering business. Some of them want to do a photography rental service, right? And those are all services that I can then hire them for. I can then connect them with people if they reach out to me, right? So again, these are all based on my experience, but hopefully you find a nugget or two in this that is going to help accelerate your version of getting hired on campus. And just to clarify, I never applied to all these things. These opportunities came to me because of the amount of value that I was doing, right? So again, take this. Hopefully you find it helpful. And if you did and you want more videos around this, around my experience, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow if you're on the podcast. And remember, be motivated and stay motivated, baby.
Welcome to Undocumented Startup by Juan Maya Hernandez.